Well, good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure and honor to be part of this seminar. And before I begin, I'd like to thank the FASS Science Policy Committee for organizing this event and focusing our attention on the 2023 Farm Bill. This is an opportunity to energize our thinking about the future of dairy science research, education, outreach in the context of the ongoing Farm Bill conversation. So again, a big shout out to the organizers. Well, let me begin my remarks on a historical note. For more than a century, the United States has invested substantively and wisely in research, education, and outreach to support a robust agricultural system in America, which today ranks among the world's most successful. The land-grant university system, the network of agricultural experiment stations, the USDA ARS regional research centers, cooperative extension system, the USDA National Institute of Food and Agriculture, and various other USDA programs. All of these have served America's farmers well and the American public well by providing foundational infrastructure to support agricultural research and progress. The fruits of these investments over the years have been impressive. Perhaps most importantly, the United States has achieved a remarkably robust capacity to consistently produce enough food to meet the needs of the growing US population, and indeed well beyond those needs. A few examples from the US dairy industry will serve to illustrate the magnitude of these successes. Today, the economic impact of the dairy industry in America totals around $750 billion annually, according to a recent study by the International Dairy Foods Association. Now, this is equivalent to about 3.5% of US GDP. The dairy industry supports well over 3 million jobs nationwide, and dairy is especially vital as an economic driver in many rural areas of the country, while at the same time, the dairy industry furnishes a truly wonderful array of safe, high quality, and nutritious dairy products to urban, suburban, and rural America alike. Furthermore, the roughly 37,000 dairy farms that make up today's US milk supply produce milk far more efficiently with far fewer animals and at much lower unit cost to the American public than milk produced, for example, in 1950. This is possible because over the past 75 years, annual milk yield per cow has increased about fourfold, while the feed used by the US dairy herd per unit of milk produced has been reduced by 80% or thereabouts. Now, this remarkable increase in milk production efficiency has also enabled the carbon footprint per unit of milk produced in the United States to decrease by 2/3 over this same period. And there are many other impressive metrics that one could cite that testify to a dairy industry that is moving in the right direction to lessen its environmental impact. Now, it's also important to note that the impressive gains in dairy farm efficiency, in turn, also help the United States to compete internationally in the export market for dairy products. And indeed, the United States exports about $5.6 billion worth of dairy products annually, thereby generating a total positive economic impact of nearly $12 billion per year. Publicly funded dairy science research, coupled with education and outreach, have helped to build this remarkable capacity to produce milk abundantly, efficiently, and cost effectively. And it has enabled the United States to transform milk that is produced in excess of our domestic needs into a portfolio of dairy products that are tailored to compete successfully in international markets. Public investment in dairy science research has also helped to fuel great advances in many other segments of the dairy processing industry to the benefit of the American public. Let me give you just one of many possible examples of this, and it's an example that is especially dear to my heart. During the second half of the 20th century, one of the great challenges facing the rapidly growing cheese industry in the United States was what to do with the ocean of whey that is produced as a byproduct of cheese making. Now, as an undergraduate student majoring in dairy technology in the 1970s, I well remember the dilemma of those times when whey was mostly viewed as a disposal issue and an ominous environmental challenge. Today, cheese whey is considered a valuable, even precious resource from which can be extracted high-value nutritional and health-promoting and functional components that have helped to create a whole new generation of value-added dairy products. These are products such as whey protein enhanced sports nutrition beverages and electrolyte hydration beverages and fitness energy bars for high performance athletes and nutritional products that are tailored to promote health and wellness at various targeted stages of the life cycle, extending from infancy and toddlerhood all the way to elder care. And research on whey components and new applications of whey components is still unfolding. There's much work to be done. And indeed, there are other components in whey that also may potentially enhance human health and wellness. But perhaps even more exciting is the growing recognition of the possibility that we are just beginning to plumb the depths of the many health-promoting components that nature has packaged into milk as a whole in order to support the growth and survival of the newborn mammal. Through future research, this could translate into significant new opportunities to improve health and wellness throughout the life cycle and potentially even lower healthcare costs of the United States in the future. Let me give you just one example of a new field of research along these lines that is emerging and it's on the horizon. This example has to do with the milk fat globule membrane that nature uses to package the fat droplets in milk. This membrane has many components, it's very complex, and it turns out that various aspects or components of this membrane have been found to potentially have health-promoting attributes, including the following. There are potential anti-inflammatory effects in the gastrointestinal tract that may help to reduce the effects of stress on the GI system. Potential positive effects in helping to shape gut microbiome and contributing to a healthy balance of microorganisms in our GI tracts, which we now know is important, very important to overall health. Also positive potential effects on prevention of cardiovascular disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, type 2 diabetes, colorectal cancer, and inflammatory bowel disease. Now, all of these possibilities are still very much in the early stages of investigation, and much more work needs to be done to achieve genuine progress towards improved health and wellness. This is one area of research, one of many that is going to require public investment to capitalize on the potential out there. But I would argue that the potential payoff in the end is worth the investment. So to summarize, I hope that I've conveyed the message that we in the dairy science community are excited about what publicly funded research, teaching, and outreach have accomplished in the past, and we're especially excited about what may be possible in the future. Now all of that's the good news, and I'd love to talk about the good news, but please bear with me as I voice my concern in conclusion that now is not the time to become complacent and to take America's very successful dairy industry for granted. There are some troubling and challenging developments on the horizon. For example, public funding in animal science and dairy science research arguably has not been keeping pace with that in other key agricultural sectors, such as plant science. Now, please don't misunderstand me. We need more investment in plant sciences research, just as we need more research investment in animal and dairy sciences. Why? because we are entering into a time of great uncertainty in the agricultural world due to changes in weather patterns and other global warming phenomena. And we need to be prepared to adapt and adjust our food production strategies to remain sustainable, both in this country and globally. And in the context of this uncertainty, I would argue that it is essential to recognize that dairying as a food production strategy is amazingly versatile. Dairying literally has helped to sustain human communities for thousands of years in some of the most challenging environments on the planet. These are places where other forms of agriculture are marginally sustainable, if at all. And it's because of this versatility that dairy is a vital component of the long-term agricultural strategy of the United States and especially the global community, and we need to protect its future. So again, in closing, now is not the time to become complacent about dairy. Now is the time to invest substantively and wisely, just as the United States has done for the past century. Thank you for affording me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the American Dairy Science Association.